Hey, good morning. I got this tripod for my camera because like it's parked precariously on a couch right now, kind of diagonal, you can see, because it won't stand up. And I have no, like, before all this started, I wasn't recording myself all the time. Anyway, so I have two cats who, you know, usually insert their ways into this videos. So I don't see this phone not following at least once during the recording of this video. I want to discuss right now my relationship with money. Now that'd be a hard video. I don't know why I have so much trouble with money. So I was a lawyer, and I've always had a money aversion. I don't know if I'm scared of money or whether I really do see the true nature of the world, and I know that it causes corruption. The whole time I was a lawyer, I've never had any money. I purposely like parsed down my fees. People used to come in and look at my books and like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, this person can't afford that. That person can't afford that. So I became like a pro bono attorney, but the problem was when you have those boundaries like that, really weak boundaries, and you're a lawyer. I also was having addiction problems on and off, remember? And even between my addiction problems, I wasn't entirely stable. I didn't have the boundaries that you see right here. People started to take advantage of me, and then I used to get clients who had no, like, you know, I was doing a lot of the check in the mail type of thing, so I did a lot of my legal career for free. I would say about 75% of my legal career I no billed. I just kept on not asking people for money, which I'm gonna let everything that happened in my legal career go, because I'll never, ever, 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 ever be a lawyer again, ever, okay? Final answer on that one, ever. I hated every day of being a lawyer. I hated it. Even if I was good, even if I could do good in the world, I don't want to hear that anymore from anyone, because I'm getting that a lot. Like, but you could do so good as a lawyer. Why would you give that up? I'm like, it was like the biggest hell of my life. Like, I hated it. Everybody gets how I feel about being a lawyer. Even if they saw me be a good lawyer, it's not something that I like. But, you know, so now I saved up, so my financial situation it's always been not how people thought it was. Remember, I was a drug addict, and I was a lawyer at the same time. I've always been able to clean up well because, I was raised well, and I'm well-spoken and educated, and when you're know how to dress or look, people will forgive a lot of. In this society, it's pretty sad. I'm still sad about this, that nobody called me out during my drug use, because I look at pictures and I see that it was a mess. But like, I was running around practicing a law firm, so I kept on getting men come after me that were opportunists, because like, oh, a female lawyer. Like, I never was making money, and like half the time I was like as broke. I was almost always as broke as my clients. Half the time my like utilities were getting shut off while I was running a law firm. But then I had people come after me trying to use me for money I didn't have. And my ego, this is 100% ego. I kept on taking care of men, and I was broke. So I'm getting my like electricity shut off. And there's a man out there that says, oh, you're a lawyer. Okay. A lawyer. And they could say I'm a little mentally off. I was mentally off. Before my awakening, I was on drugs on and off. And then the medical system, I'm going to rant and rave about this, kept on, like, they wouldn't take me off lithium. And I trusted them. The minute I went off lithium, I went off lithium in June. I was on it from, I believe, 1999 until 2016. And the minute I went off, my brain started to think differently. Like, it cleared up. My final rehab that I put myself in a rehab in Florida. That was really good. It's so funny. Lindsay Lohan escaped. It was a beautiful rehab. We had like fountains, and we had horses. It was a equine camp. Got massages. Beautiful rehab. You know, it was like a vacation, and it was the biggest. One of the things I'm most grateful for in my life was me going to that rehab. It's changed my life. I didn't get clean, but it changed my life because of them taking me off lithium. Anyway, Lindsay Lohan had jumped over the wall and escaped 2 days before I got there. And all the staff were making fun of her. They're like, she could have walked out. She didn't have to jump off a thing. Because we're in the middle, like, it was like, in Florida near the beach. And it was kind of, the rehabs there, the compounds, you know, that the dormitories it was in an old mansion. So it's kind of desolate. So she jumped over a wall and ran. And everybody's making fun of her because she didn't have to do that. So I missed Lindsay Lohan in rehab by a few days. There should have been some great stories. I heard she was in the room next to mine. I was all disappointed that I missed her. Anyway, the biggest benefit of that rehab was a doctor spotted me, and like I just was going through the system because I was like, I had no soul, and I was just like dull, and people just let you push through, like just another addict, she's mentally ill, she's an addict. And a doctor pulled me out and he's like, there's something special about you, stop, like what are they doing to you? He actually said that to me. For the first time, a doctor pulled me, he goes, I'm seeing you every day. He's like, and I'm assigning you a psychiatrist who's seeing you every day. So I get pulled out and I get assigned to 2 private doctors in this rehab. And they kept on begging me to stay, and I stayed for 8 weeks. And I got private therapy every day, and they took me off lithium. And got me on some other medicine, which I ultimately got off myself. Some other mood stabilizers, which I've been off for a while too, and I'm realizing I don't need those either. I was just you know, an awake drug addict in this crazy world. I didn't know what was going on. But this doctor spotted me. He saw me in a group meeting and he called me out. Like, and I never forget, he was like, you're special. He's like, what are they doing to you? He's like, how long have you been on lithium? And I'm like, well, you know, after my second son, I started having manic depressive symptoms and they put me on. And he's like, how many times have they put you in a mental hospital? I'm like, this is like the 9th time or something, 4 rehabs. Like basically I was in and out of hospitals once a year, and I was maintaining stability the rest of the year. I was running a law firm. I actually raised 2 children in this time. I was living 2 separate lives that were so separate. I don't know how this made it through. So I was 50-50 custody with my ex. And I never used drugs around my kids. And I was a good mom. I was emotionally unavailable, but I loved them unconditionally, and I did all the things that a mother should do, even though my soul wasn't there yet. I did, you know, they never got yelled at. All they got is positive reinforcement. All they ever got is love. And my son's autistic too. So I was raising an autistic son, which I did a really, really good job with. He's doing really well because he got some love as parents. I did have supportive grandparents, but so 50% of the time I'm being a mom, and then I'm running this law firm. Okay. And then I have this like drug life going on, just this crazy, again, hard drugs. Mainly cocaine. In the end, heroin got went in there. There was a meth stage in there. I mean, it was bad. Really, really bad. So, I forget where I was going with this. I totally forget where I was going with this. We were talking about money. So the bottom line is I gave up my legal career, first week in November with no plans. And I have a money aversion. I had $10,000 in an account, emergency account, which is what I'm living off of right now. And I kind of haven't even thought about working yet. I'm going to tell you a little about what I've done with that time. As soon as I stopped practicing law, I got right in the kitchen. I realized my passion was cooking, and I realized that I have like extraordinary gifts in the kitchen. So I spent a lot of time in there, and I started documenting it on Facebook. I also, so at the very beginning of quitting law, the same week, I was volunteering in a library, and I was running the story hour, and it was like my favorite thing to do all week. Like Friday nights and Saturday mornings, I'd wake up, and it was a pain because I was like waking up in the morning. I wasn't getting paid, but I loved reading to those kids. And when I was there, they talked me into being on the board. So I got on the board. This is a small town library. And I refused to put on a mask for a meeting. Every month they would all mask up, and nobody believed in it anyway. I'm like, we're in a town of 900 people. Like, I haven't left the house. I'm where I'm not putting on a mask. So it was horrible because I told, and nobody stuck up for me. This was it for me. This is why I quit practice of the law. The library, Shabanoff Library, this little tiny library, did it all for me. I walk in and I tell, so the library is just a director and me, a volunteer, that's all, but there's a board of directors that, of course, disperses money and stuff. And I told the librarian, who's also a patriot, I told her I'm not putting on a mask today. She's like, oh, you have to. She's a simpleton. But she gets it. She's awake. She knows that this is all a scam. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. Like, I'm just not. Like, no. I said the only time I've had a mask on in the last 6 months is the last 2 board meetings because I love this library so much. I won't put it on planes. I've gotten banned from Delta. I walk through TSA without them on. I just fight my way through, but I was wearing it for this stupid library. She's like, okay, so we walk in and everybody walks in and starts the meeting. One lady, I don't even like this lady. Like, she has something against me. And everyone likes me. I don't even understand why anybody would have anything against me because I only help people. So she walks in the library and she's like, where's your mask? And I'm like, yeah, I don't do that. I don't believe in it. I'm politically against that. I'm not going to do it. I'll keep 6 distance. She goes, no, you need to wear a mask. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to. She grabs the mask and hands it to me. I said, no. I said no respectfully. She's like, well, you're going to have to leave. And I look around and everybody else in the room, they were complaining about putting on their mask before she walked in. Okay? So nobody believes in it. We all had no mask on before this bitch walks in. And I stare at her and then she runs to the door and points to the door and she goes, see, it's the law. I'm like, you did not just point to a sign on a door to tell me it's the law. I'm a lawyer for 15 years. Like, your evidence that I should put on a mask is solely a sign that I hung on the door, I think. Because of compliance reasons, this freaking state, you have to hang it on the door. Mask required. What upset me, so I was ready to get escorted out. I'm used to civil disobedience. I've been practicing civil disobedience for the last 1.5 years because I refused to wear masks in airports and everything. So I've gotten, escorted off of planes and escorted out of stores. I mean, this has been a regular thing for me, my civil disobedience. And I always keep calm. What I always do when I'm confronted about the mask thing, I say, okay, I'm not going to put one on. And there's usually a back and forth that's exchanged. It's usually like, well, we have them for you. And I'm like, no. Like, well, you can just put it on. They try to soften the blow and they try to give me one. And I'm like, okay, what's next? They stare at me. I'm like, no, I said, you asked me to wear a mask. I said, no. Now it's your turn. What's next? And they just stare at me. I'm like, do I leave? Are you going to escort me out? Because I'm not leaving unless you escort me out. I'm going to go, peacefully, but you're going to get me to that door and tell me to leave. The 9 out of 10 times people they won't escort you out. And they want you to, it's so funny in the airport. It's why I never get arrested because I'm cool as shit. I'm like, whatever. Like, I know truth. Like, go ahead, mess with me. Kick me out. That's okay. I'm willing to sacrifice for what I believe in. So I think I just went a million different ways. But the library, on the way out of the library, the woman, the patriot who knew that I was doing this, everybody's staring at me. And I actually start to cry. And I'm like, the kids are going to miss me because I had the most robust story hour. I was really growing this library. I was hanging out with a bunch of community youth that were not doing well. And I was giving them attention. People were coming to the library for me. And everybody before me was just not that friendly. And I was loving it. And ironically, the real library director is very simpleton. She works at a gas station. The other time, she doesn't read books. That's a job for her. It's just a job, which is fine. Everybody needs a job. But for me, it's a passion. I'm a reader. I'm a writer. I love children. I love community. I'm being escorted out. On the way out, she goes, hey, the keys. So not only did I lose my position on the board, which was going to happen. I get it because this crazy board director is a mask Nazi and I wasn't bending and she wasn't bending. So either someone was going to stand up for me or I was going to get thrown out, and I'm okay with repercussions for doing the right thing. But I was like, to the director, I'm staring at her. She grabbed my hand and squeezed it on the way out. She asked for my keys just to make a show in front of these other ladies that she was on their side. And that's when I realized our country was in trouble. She did it, I'm telling you, because she grabbed my hand. And I'm like, you didn't have to ask for the keys. Nobody else in this room has daily dated. I could have come back to work tomorrow. So then, I kid you not. So I'm fired from the library. The county now has to pay. She has to start working 6-day weeks because I'm a volunteer, don't get paid. I'm working opening and closing the library Friday and Saturday. So not only that, I'm doing it on 2 days that nobody wants to work, okay? I'm waking up Saturday mornings. I'm working Friday nights. So she has to start working 6-day weeks because she demanded my keys back because I wouldn't wear a mask. And she didn't even believe I should have to wear a mask. She just did it to impress the other ladies that she was a rule follower. and that she wasn't going to deal with my stuff. And I was on my way out the door, and I said, I'm going to miss my little girls. Like, that was my last line. And I got home and I quit law a day after that. I'm like, I'm tired of this whole situational morality. Like, if I believe in something, I'm going to do it. I don't care about the repercussions anymore. And that was like the bottom line for me. Like, it was like, I don't care anymore about the repercussions. I do what's right. And I quit law pretty quickly. I was running the law firm with my ex-husband. I don't want to talk about him too much. There's too many people. We overlap on too many people. And I don't have anything against him. But he and I had a business together. We started the firm, and he kind of, I told him, and he kind of knew which way I was going, because he and I are connected on a soul level, but he didn't go the way we went, I think. I hope. I don't know. I'm not talking to him, but... So he started I found another lawyer to take the firm, but we did this very quickly, within days. And I kind of, my income cut off, like, suddenly. Like, I think my last paycheck was October. I don't have that much money, but I'm living very frugally. I don't leave the house, and I cook everything from home. But, you know, I think this is the week I'm going to have to, by the end of the week, thinking about revenue streams, because eventually the money's going to dry up. I wanted to say really quick, because this is how I started, what I did with my time off, because, you know, I'm going to have to start working again. Because I'm hoping I can make some revenue stream just from, whoa. That was Skype. Skype, it's 4 in the morning. It's 4 in the morning, too. I've been going to sleep, like, at 9 at night, so I'm, like, up at 3. Like, just, like, a normal, like, hey, I'm up. So I get to watch the sunset. But for some reason, the cat, like, you know, finds that dope that I'm up at 4. Runs around like a maniac. I spent my first few weeks, I fell into a fast. I've never fasted before, but I started reading about fasts, and the next thing I knew, I hadn't eaten for like a day or two, and then I totally cleansed my body. I do a bath a day, a salt bath a day, and a couple hours of yoga a day. So my days have been very structured. Every single thing I do betters me. I've gotten very athletic. I'm gotten incredibly flexible because I do so much yoga. Adding cardio soon. And my diet is immaculate. I don't eat processed food. Everything I eat, I make in my kitchen. So I had to train myself how to learn to like to eat vegetables, because I had two options. I had three options. Just keep eating like shit and don't care about my life, which I opted out of. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to have to change my life. That means I'm going to have better things in my body. So I fucking hate the taste of vegetables. And how do you change a taste? The way I had to do it was I've been reading cooking magazines and everything. And I tried new things until I like it. And then my body kind of switched pretty quickly once I started to do it regularly. Like the first time I ate a Brussels sprout, because I ate no vegetables at all. Like I just ate fast food all the time for 10 years. But I improved my diet. I get a produce delivery service, and I don't fiddle with what's in the box, and it's just weekly. In my rule, I don't waste anything in this kitchen, so if it comes, I have to eat it. So it's like a challenge. Just online, I oftentimes post like a picture of the produce around me, any ideas, and I've made some like incredible things in the last 3 months. Just the things that I've learned in the last 3 months are never going to go away. And the things that's added to my self-esteem, self-worth has just been like amazing, because I try a new thing a day. Like every time I'm in the kitchen, this is something I'm becoming. This isn't something I've been. So now, I'm going to start a YouTube cooking channel, and I'm hoping I can get income from that, because that's my passion. When I'm in the kitchen, I am alive. Like I can flow, I can think. When I'm at a computer doing, lawyer shit, I'm like, I go unconscious. I just, and do what I have to do. And that's where I'm struggling right now. It's just finding a fit. I don't want to stifle my soul again. I like how I wake up in the morning. I usually wake up in the morning. I read cooking magazines or a cookbook, because that's part of investing in learning more about cooking so I can be a cook. And the best way to do that is, get different modalities. So I read that for a little bit. And then I make juice every day for the day, which has been a lot of fun, and it's been great for me. But, you know, again, life takes effort. So cut up the vegetables, throw them in the thing, and you have juice for the day. And then I have usually one cooking project a day. A cooking project's usually like a dessert or, you know, vegetable chips for the week or something. And that takes a few hours. I almost always do an hour or two of yoga in the bath. I have a really nice bath. It's really helped me, the zero gravity. I can do things in the bath that I can't do not in the bath, and it's big enough to do it. And I find it like being in a totally dark bath, has no windows, and I just put on music and do yoga. It's usually my first round of yoga, which is more just stretching and everything. But then I meditate when I'm in there, and then I usually come out in a meditative state, and I usually kind of just don't talk to many people until 3 or 4 then, and I just meditate. Sometimes I end up in the kitchen, or, you know, I read a lot, you know, and that's how I spend my days. And then I usually do a second round of like high intensity yoga. I've been into hanging upside down lately. It helps my back a lot, and it helps my abs because, you know, pulling back up, and it just feels comfortable. I usually do an edible somewhere in there, and that's when I start hanging upside down. So that explains anything. So that's my days. You know, and so the challenge right now is I need to face that eventually I need money, because the problem is if I run out of money, then it's going to be stressful. It's going to knock me off of my spiritual path. And that's what I'm worried about. Not the money itself, just the stress of not having money is going to do something. So this is like, someone brought up, like someone who I trust said, like, there's money out there, but there's no particulars. It's always like, yeah, money. I don't want to I'm not leaving the house every day, you know. Then I talk about going off the grid, because I'm like, this isn't worth it. Like, I don't want someone else to own my time. So I want to do something that, like, I can control, because I own my time. I own my days, every minute of my day. I'm conscious of it. I set hour alarms just to keep myself on track. Sometimes I've written schedules before, but I'm doing hour by hour. But at this point, I have a schedule. Like, I don't zone out. I try to stay conscious, at least, like, sometimes I slip into unconsciousness. I'm tired right around 7 or 8 at night. And I just kind of, like, I tell people, like, I'm just going to zone out. This is just going to be done. But I can keep a high level of consciousness for much of the day like this. So, you know, I'm going to be talking a lot about this, because even like saying like, okay, it's time to start working is, but you know, people say they like watching me, and they say, my best friend actually, who sells things on Poshmark, and she's very good at social media, she's younger than me, said, I remind her, Amazing Polly, who's one of a political pundit she listens to, she's like, you should, you know, do a channel like that. It just is daunting to me. I'm just posting this on Facebook. I totally I'd love to be that kind of personality, but I don't even know how to start. You know, you need people to follow you. I'm like, I hate attention in some way. Like, I like helping people, but I don't want to be like, pay attention to me, watch me. Like, I don't like asking people to watch me. So if you want to get something out of it, you can. If you can't, you can't. That's great. I'm here. Like, that's just me. I'm here. I'm here to offer the world what I have to offer. Take it or leave it. But social media, it's like, you know, pay attention to me, you know. That's why girls are like all filtered, and, you know, their tits out, and, you know, what was I calling it the other day? I'm a sexy little pixie, you know, pay attention to me. It just, that's how it is. And I'm like, I can't do that. I'm 46 years old. I don't feel like competing just to have people watch me. I'm going to go to Jenna today, and Jenna, if you're listening to this, make me come over to your house today so we can set me up on social media. Because I will record and do interviews till the sun goes down. I have no problem talking, obviously. But, you know, the problem is getting it out there. And Facebook's messing with me already. In uploading videos, they sometimes take a few hours to upload, because they're messing with me, obviously. So, okay. The rest of the day ahead of me. Let's get it started. Have a great day.